The American presidential elections on the 5th of November are taking center stage even in West Asian politics. Lebanon's Prime Minister Najib Mikati has now expressed hope that there could be ceasefire with the State of Israel before Tuesday, that is the 5th of November. On the Israel-Iran front, though, there are concerns that Iran may choose to strike back at the State of Israel before that because of the Israeli attack that took place on Iranian soil on the 26th of October. In a televised interview with the Lebanese broadcaster Al Jadid, Lebanon's Najib Mikati said that he had become more optimistic about the possibility of truce as the US envoy is due to travel to the State of Israel on Thursday. Najib Mikati further added that a ceasefire will be linked to the implementation of the United Nations resolution that ended the 2006 war between Israel and Hezbollah.
Honestly, I don't know what to believe anymore. But we are doing everything we can, and we must always keep trying and remain optimistic. Hopefully, in the coming hours or days, we'll see a ceasefire. I should mention that in my conversation with him, he was very hopeful, even though there were reports in the media suggesting otherwise.
Now, the U.S. State Department has also confirmed that two White House officials, Brett McGurk and Amos Hochstein, are in the State of Israel to engage on issues including a diplomatic resolution in Lebanon and also to bring about an end to the conflict, that is, the war in the Gaza Strip. The CIA Director, William Burns, is in the region as well. Efforts are on to reach a deal before voting in the presidential elections in the United States on the 5th of November.
And one of the things that they are going to discuss is how we can find a diplomatic resolution that fully implements a UN Security Council Resolution 1701, something that we have not seen over the past few years.
Now, on the other hand, Hezbollah's new leader, Naim Qassem, has said that the group will agree to a ceasefire with the State of Israel under acceptable terms, but has also said that a viable deal has to be presented first. The statement has come as Israel's security cabinet is meeting to discuss a possible truce. Just hours before that, the Hezbollah chief had said that the Lebanese group will continue on its path of war with Israel if the conditions for a ceasefire are not met.
If the Israelis decide that they want to stop the aggression, we say we accept, but under the conditions that we see as appropriate and suitable.
On another front in West Asia, there are signals of tensions continuing. A CNN report citing a senior Iranian source said that Tehran may deliver a definitive and a pretty painful response to the Israeli attack on the Iranian territory on the 26th of October. Now, this Iranian reprisal could happen before the American presidential elections on the 5th of November. Now, the source quoted in the report claimed to have some inside information on the deliberations in Tehran about a reprisal on Israel. Now, Israel has been expecting a potential Iranian response after it attacked Iran on the 26th of October, in which some Iranian military sites were targeted in places like Ilam, Khuzestan and Tehran. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what is happening at this moment, we're being joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live from New York. Susan, this is an interesting hope that's been expressed by the Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati, where he said that there is a possibility that there could be a ceasefire of sorts between Israel and Hezbollah, and this could happen before the 5th of November presidential elections. Is there any basis or premise on basis of which the Lebanese Prime Minister is saying this, looking at the developments that are currently happening in Washington?
You know, with the latest developments happening in Washington and the relationship that the Biden administration, not so much overtly but covertly, has had with the Netanyahu government, it's hard to imagine that Benjamin Netanyahu would hand this sort of ceasefire victory to the Biden administration before it leaves office. So while there is always hope that some kind of resolution will be reached, and that is what everyone wants, politically, it's a far-reaching. I mean, it's just a few days away. It's just very far-reaching to see something like that happen. This reminds us with the hostage crisis in Iran back in 1979, when Iran was negotiating with the Carter administration, and everyone was hoping that the American hostages in Iran post-revolution would be released before Jimmy Carter leaves office. But because of strained relationships between the Ayatollahs and Jimmy Carter, Iran waited until Ronald Reagan was sworn into office until it decided to free those hostages. So, a lot of politics at play. We'll have to wait and see, but it's very unlikely.
Absolutely. And also, I want you to weigh in on this tweet that Donald Trump has, of course, put out, where he said, during my administration, we have peace in the Middle East, and we'll have peace again very soon. This is what Donald Trump has tweeted. And I quote him here: "I'll fix the problems caused by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and stop the suffering and destruction in Lebanon." He does not mention the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, the Palestinian territories, but he says that there will be an end to the violence and suffering in Lebanon. This is something that a lot of people around the world are also going to be wondering about. How much of an issue are these wars in West Asia having an impact on American voters? And can Donald Trump use his leverage to stop these wars there?
We'll have to wait and see. One of the reasons the former president is making these claims is because one of the slogans of his campaign now is "Kamala and Joe broke it, I will fix it," whether it comes to the immigration, economy, and now these overseas wars. A lot of the population here in the United States openly say that what's happening in the Gaza Strip and in the Middle East is genocide on the part of Israel. But then you have the Israel-American community who have their own views about what's happening in the Middle East. So the Democratic Party is in a very hard spot. They don't know who to satisfy. So ultimately, what Donald Trump says is a campaign slogan. How much of it he can deliver, again, is yet to be seen.
Indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Susan Tehrani, for joining us and getting us those details there.